Welcome. My name is Niki Saccareccia. I want to give you a quick breakdown of an intermediate level back bend that we see in flow yoga or vinyasa style yoga. It's called upward facing dog pose or Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog pose. Now, I want to show you another pose, a very popular back bend, entry level back bend that we also see in yoga classes and vinyasa classes, which is called Cobra Pose or Bhujangasana. So I'm going to show you Cobra Pose first, and then I'm going to show you upward facing dog pose, and then I'll break down some of the differences. So Cobra Pose is what's called a prone back bend, which just means that you start from a face down position. Your legs are as wide as your hip joints are. Your hands are on either side of your chest. Elbows are tucked in close. You start with your head down. Press down through your hips. And on an inhale, lift your chest, your neck, your head, and your shoulders off the floor. And you can see there's a big bend in my back, hence the name back bend. So chest is wide open, elbows are bent. Now, low cobra could be here, just floating above the floor. Maybe we'll call this medium cobra. And then high cobra is here. Now notice my arms are still bent. I'm way up off the floor. I am in no pain. I'm not struggling. My elbows are noticeably bent and my pelvis is on the floor. Okay, so this is a high cobra position. Now let me show you upward facing dog pose. Very similar, but see if you could spot the difference. Here, my arms are straight, still got a big back bend going on, but my pelvis and my thighs are off the floor. This is the difference. So there's a bit of an arm balancing component here, which makes this more advanced, more physically effortful than something like high cobra pose. Still a lot of effort here, but a more reasonable amount. Okay. So when you're practicing upward facing dog, you're usually coming into it from something like downward facing dog pose. I'm going to deepen my breath because these poses are intermediate level. They require a lot of muscular effort and a lot of areas of the body to remain engaged and balanced so that we can be there comfortably. So from downward facing dog pose, I'm going to come forward into plank. Now, I can untuck my feet, press my chest forward, my pelvis will lower a little bit, and roll my shoulders back. So here I am in upward facing dog pose. And then to come out of it, I'm going to tuck my feet, pull up through my pelvis, and press back, returning to downward facing dog pose. It's really important that when you're doing a posture like this, you're breathing as you go, okay? One other thing to be aware of, I see this all the time, is that when you're in cobra or up dog, your shoulders are not forward. Chest is lifted the entire time. If you were to sit or stand and have your arms straight forward, almost like you're trying to close a door with both hands, and then take your arms down a little bit, notice if your shoulders are up or forward. And then imagine all of your body weight on top of that. That's what we want to avoid in upward facing dog pose. So arms are straight and pressed away while the shoulders are rolled down. You can see the difference here. Right? Here's a shrug forward and up, which we don't want. Shoulders back and down, chest is wide open. Okay, so just something to remember as you're practicing or refining your upward facing dog pose or even your cobra pose. Cobra is always going to be the recommended pose if you're newer to yoga, if you're coming back after a little bit of a hiatus, if you slept really weird and you feel a little tight. And then you can always work up, like just in a singular class, also you might start with Cobra. And then after a few rounds, as things get more warmed, as you feel more embodied, to then shift into that stronger posture, which we call upward facing dog pose. Okay, have fun practicing. See you in class.